They just took 5 assault rifles wrapped in towels out of this car, just like other people get rid of their regular trash.
In the United States, nearly 100 people die every day from gun violence. In Los Angeles alone, almost 20% of the population owns a gun. In order to reduce the number of firearms, Ian Johnston is organizing gun buybacks with the city of LA. Our reporter, Micah Greiner, wants to know how an arms buyback works.
Hi, Micah. Nice to meet you.
With his organization, Gun by Gun, Ian has already set up 7 gun buybacks.
What is the reason for your fight against guns?
When I was 10 years old, my father was shot and killed during an attempted robbery. Teenagers, one of the kids, fired a single shot into his back. He was a 16-year-old. He had a gun that had been stolen from a home, and he was instantly paralyzed, and he died a month later from complications from it.
Okay. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Today, Ian crowdfunds money. Guns are bought back. He knows that he's fighting against an enormous system. The government is reluctant to revise loose gun laws, while more than 15,000 Americans were killed by guns last year alone.
Why do people bring their guns to a gun buyback?
Well, these are a lot of unwanted guns, and there's a lot of reasons that people participate. Maybe they bought a gun and then they've had a child, and they've decided that, you know, with a new child in the house, they don't want to have that gun. Maybe the child's getting older and, you know, is in their, you know, adolescence. And, you know, maybe there's a concern about mental health in the family. Maybe there's a concern about domestic violence. You know, all of these risk factors are increase exponentially when there's a gun in the home, and people recognize that, and they want to get rid of these guns for reasons of safety.
What do people think about a gun buyback program? Micah sets out to ask around.
Hey, sorry, may I ask you something? Do you ever heard of the gun buyback?
Like, if I have this gun, like, I'm not sure what I'll do with it, maybe at some point. So, like, maybe the safest way is just get rid of it.
Okay. Do you bring your guns back on a gun buyback?
Probably not, because I'm a little different because most of them are collectible.
Do you think it will change anything?
Eventually, yeah. I mean, the less guns that are out there, the less shootings we'll have in the country.
My ex-husband, we had guns in the house. I didn't like it.
You had?
I didn't like it.
You had?
Big shotgun. Yes, and it actually went off accidentally when he was showing me how to use it and how to clean it. Yes, and it put a freaking hole in the wall that big.
What did you? Yeah.
And I was pregnant.
Okay.
So really not okay with guns.
There are over 300 million privately owned weapons in the United States. There are more weapons than inhabitants. Micah is out and about in a suburb of LA.
I'm
on my way to a woman's house. She's a mother of 2 and she has a shotgun at home. That's a very powerful weapon, and I want to ask her why she has it and why she wants to get rid of it.
Before filming, we had to promise our interviewee that we would keep her place of residence secret and change her name. Anyone who speaks openly against weapons in the United States must expect retaliation.
Hi. Come on in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
You're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks for having me here. It doesn't look like it, but I know that you have a gun here in your house.
Yes,
a shotgun.
Yes, I do.
Would you show me where you hide it?
Sure.
Okay.
Follow me.
Sarah lives here with her 2 children. She grew up with guns in her house and used to have no problem with them. After the recent shootings in the US, she's changed her mind.
Watch out. Yeah, this is where I hide it. it makes a lot of noise.
Okay.
Here it is right here.
Oh, I see.
It's hot. That's the case. It's inside.
Okay.
Be careful with it. Point it away from people.
Okay.
No one's. Okay, there we go.
Sarah has owned the shotgun for more than 7 years. Her ex-husband bought it. After the divorce, Sarah didn't know what to do with it.
Whoa, that's a really big piece.
Das ist ein richtig schweres Teil. If it's your ex-husband, why is this thing still here?
Everything in the house belonged to me, and I had kept it hidden, and he didn't know where it was.
I know it's a very personal question, but have you been afraid of your own life?
With the gun?
Yeah.
Yes. As a matter of fact, yeah, I was, and I removed my friends had suggested before I asked for a divorce that we move the gun out of the house.
Really?
Yeah, because they were afraid.
They were afraid that your ex-husband could use the gun against you when you were telling him that you want to have a divorce.
Then months after he moved out, when he couldn't come back into the home anymore, and we brought it back.
I noticed that she feels very uncomfortable here. We'll put the gun away now, and tomorrow it will be out of the house.
Das Teil hier auch aus dem Haus. Okay. Should we?
We want to go with Sarah to give back the gun and make an appointment for the next day.
She was terrified of her gun. I was not expecting her to be so emotional about it. She trembled, she was anxious, and the day she gets rid of it will be one of the most important ones for her in this past year.
The next morning, Micah is on her way to the Los Angeles gun buyback.
I can't imagine what it'll be like. I'm a little excited. Ian has already told me that people can't even get out of the car.
The arms are brought back in a large parking lot because everything is done from the car. The gun owners line up and remain seated in their cars. It's easier for the police to keep track of things this way. The weapons themselves are in the trunks of the cars and are only handled by the officials.
In 20 minutes, they've already collected 50 guns.
Depending on the type, the guns are first sorted in these barrels. The cars are unloaded by the minute. There's a $100 shopping voucher for each gun. For assault rifles, you get 200.
So, can you tell me, what is the procedure here?
So we come to the back, we make sure, well, we recover the gun from wherever it is. Sometimes they'll come in wrapped in towels, sometimes they'll be in gun cases. This one's just laying out in the open. I can see that it's a lever action gun, so the action is already open. So I can see into the chamber here and see that it's already clear. And then we just take it and we make sure that they tally it up and we'll put it in the respective bin.
In addition to hunting rifles, an alarmingly large number of assault rifles are also delivered, just like this AR-15, which is used again and again in shootings. In the semi-automatic version, without a rapid-fire function, these rifles are legal here.
There are things you can do to these to make them fully automatic, which would make it a machine gun in California, which would be completely illegal.
How do you know if this weapon wasn't part of a crime?
We don't. So we recover the firearms, and because of the fact that it's anonymous, the serial number on the firearm, we'll run it just to make sure it's not stolen. And other than that, it's just going to get destroyed.
In theory, you could make a murder weapon disappear.
Okay.
Even with such a statement, the police don't ask questions. Micah tries to talk to the gun owners.
What do you have in your trunk today?
I have two pistols.
2 pistols, okay.
Revolvers.
Why do you want to bring them here?
Because while I was on active duty, they became illegal in the state of California.
Ah, okay.
They're small hand weapons.
Okay, all right.
It was my first 9mm, which I bought at Walmart some 15 years ago. It was really heavy.
Are you giving it up now because you're against weapons?
It's too heavy for me. No, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment.
But you're still handing over your weapon.
Yes, one of three. So far, we haven't spoken to a single person fully opposed to guns. Can a buyback change anything, or is it just a drop in the ocean?
Unfortunately, there's 300 million guns in circulation, and it's hard to make a dent in that through gun buybacks. But what I think we can really impact is the rate of gun ownership. The rate of gun ownership in the US, it peaked in the 70s, where about 40% of homes had guns in them. Now that's down to 32%. So gun ownership is declining.
The main principle is simple. A house without a gun won't have a shooting. But whether there's 2, 3, or 5 weapons is almost irrelevant. Micah now meets Sarah at the entrance.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How do you feel?
I feel excited.
Yeah?
I feel excited.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a relief.
Yeah.
Sarah is waiting in her car for a police officer.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
How many firearms do you have?
One shotgun in the very, very back.
That's all the way. Is it unloaded?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll take a
I don't
look at
think
it.
so. Okay.
Hopefully it's unloaded, but
Okay.
we'll find out. This is obviously the chamber is closed, so I don't know if it's loaded or not. When you turn the shotgun over, there's a feeding tube in here. I can see that there's no ammo in there, so that's always a good sign. So this gun is clear.
It's unloaded.
It's unloaded.
The shotgun will be melted down with all the other weapons tomorrow. Sarah gets a $100 shopping voucher for her gun.
I'm great. Thank you so much for your participation.
In the second-hand market, a used shotgun is worth more. But Sarah isn't doing this for the money. She wants the gun to be destroyed.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel good. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm very, very happy for you.
Thank you. Well, it was kind of out of sight, out of mind, but it was always in the back of my head that it's there. I hit it well, but it's just a relief to not have to think that there's this potential dangerous animal in my house anymore. So, close the book. I feel better now. It's just, yeah, I'm not part of the problem.
A total of 470 weapons are collected. They'll be melted down in a steel processing plant. It's dangerous there, so only our cameraman is allowed in. A special police unit oversees the operation.
Because we're worried that somebody may follow the convoy down to this facility and attempt to steal some of the firearms. You can never be too sure. So we have our elite squad from LAPD come down here. They're proficient, they're the best shooters on the department, and they have the best tactics.
We can see almost 500 firearms go into the oven. Weapons that can no longer fall into the wrong hands. The weapon scrap is heated to 5,500 degrees by huge electrodes. And all that remains is molten steel. That's how weapons become new steel beams for building new houses.